Hey everyone, this is Jack Stashower, and I'm one half of the Jays, and we are going to be covering the Wildcats nationally and globally. Across from me is Jona Jancewicz. Say hello.
Hello, I'm Jonah, and I'm the other half of the Jays. I am so excited for you guys to be listening to the first episode of the J&J Show. We will be covering everything WJ.
And a little more,
Yep.
First off, fall sports have been starting. The biggest event so far has been football. We are 2-0. You have anything to say about that?
I think the teams look really good. I've been really surprised with the defense. I think the run defense in particular has played really well. I want to shout out C.J. Newman and Dylan Mimic, the true freshmen, playing really well, leading the team in tackles with 10 tackles and 1 sack.
I gotta admit to you, I wasn't able to catch this. I had to leave the Churchill game early, but I heard that huge Alessandro hit. The whole crowd. I've seen the video that's going crazy. I wish I stayed for that. I wish I stayed for that.
Right there.
Flat Stanley. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm. And tomorrow 6:30 at QO. That's gonna be a tough game. For those who don't know, QO, Quince Orchard in Gaithersburg, reigning 4A state champs of Maryland. They're a perennial powerhouse. This is a team that's ranked within top 10 in the state of Maryland, regardless of division. They play private schools like DeMatha, Paint Branch, St. Francis well. And this is going to be a really tough game for WJ. I don't expect the team to win, unfortunately. Going against QO, you want to see a competitive game, though. This is the type of game where, usually you don't say that there's moral, it's a moral victory even when you lost, but really this game is kind of a moral victory if you keep it close.
I feel you. Last year, Walter Johnson did keep it close for a half. There was some amazing plays, amazing coaching from Larry Hurd, and I think, it is possible if we play like that the whole game to surprise a lot of people. This is a special team, and you can see that by the way they play together.
Yeah. I think the offense has a really balanced attack. Charlie Blessing, the new transfer quarterback from Bolus, has a good arm. He has good receivers with Christian and Pablo, and he's a good runner too. And so I like how the offense is constructed right now. It'll be interesting to see how what if there's gonna be any trick plays to catch the really athletic QO defense off guard.
And of course, I do want to shout out the beginning of soccer season tomorrow at WJ. It is a blackout theme. I will be attending that personally.
Yep.
It's going to be my first soccer game I've ever been to. I'm missing out, yeah. I don't really watch a lot of soccer, so, I'm going to have to get used to it. But I've heard the team's amazing. They played amazing last year. I want to see what the hype's all about, and I'm very excited to see them play.
Yeah, last year's WJ's boys soccer was a great team led by Bardia Hormozi, who is not on the team this year because he's sitting out due to committing to Princeton University for soccer. This will be interesting to how the team will be tested. Bardia is one of the top goal scorers in the country, let alone the state for the team. I'll be interested to see who on the front line can really just pick up where he left off. If it could be a group effort or maybe a singular effort. This will be a good test for the boys soccer team.
Well, I think they can pick up, where they started. The team captains are great people. They're even better at soccer. I know this because they owned me on the playground in 5th grade, so I kind of knew it was happening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Of course, Sean, who definitely defeated me in a few battles in 5th grade. We hope you get better with your injury. Of course, ACLs are horrible. Please rest up.
Yep. Tomorrow at 7 versus St. Albans, home game, WJ boys soccer. And now we can shift attention to WJ girls field hockey, which I attended yesterday. Field hockey team destroyed Magruder. It wasn't even close. Yeah, Magruder got up 1-0 in the first period, but from then on, 6 straight goals by the WJ field hockey team.
Domination.
It was the girls just dominated Magruder. It was funny looking at the teams because I was on the sideline looking at it. It was like the WJ girls team, they have a full roster out there on the field. They have all the players out there, and then the same amount on the bench. So and then Magruder, there's everyone on the team's on the field besides 2 players. It was such a mismatch. I almost felt bad for Magruder. until I heard some
playing a little bit of Iron Man,
talking some trash. I'm like, yeah, WJ's gotta destroy
you
that.
lose all sympathy as soon as they start talking trash. That's relatable.
Yeah. So, I mean, WJ Sports, I think, has gone off to a strong start. WJ Girls Soccer, they also...
9-0.
9.
JV and varsity, too. Both 9-0 games.
They're a stacked team from Aliette, Vivian, Isabella, Katie. I mean, that team has got some serious potential for states.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I'll be attending that if they go to states, and also throughout the season I may be checking in,
Yep. So
depending if I have the money to.
That's
it really does depend.
Yeah, I mean, and this is off in the distant future, but WJ basketball I think is having a really good season too. Like,
I'm very excited for that.
Winter, but
if anyone would like to give me money so I can attend these games, my Cash App is in the description. No, it's not, but if it should be, do let me know.
Yep.
I need cash.
So that's a wrap up for your WJ Sports, and now for a brief couple minutes we'll just talk about ourselves personally, so you'll get to know us and like who we're fans of as teams around the
Who we
country
get emotional over.
and across the pond.
All right, I'm going to start with that. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. I love Cleveland. Well, not really. I hate Ohio. Ohio is a dumb state with dumb people in it, but Cleveland's like a little sanctuary where you just escape the awful things that Ohio has to offer. Cleveland's a little sanctuary of like democracy, it feels like.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, I'm a Cleveland Browns fan. I am very conflicted on whether I still keep on cheering for the team. I am very against the trade for Deshaun Watson. We will talk more about that when he comes back from his suspension.
Yeah.
I am a huge Cleveland Guardians fan. The new name kind of sucks. If you didn't know, it is named after traffic statues. Why? That's lame.
Traffic statues.
But guess they are the youngest team in baseball, and they're playing pretty well. I hope to see them in the playoffs. I love the Cleveland Cavaliers. Donovan Mitchell trade, that had me leaping for joy. There's a video of me just screaming. Oh, I love basketball. It's probably my favorite sport.
Mm-hmm.
Hockey-wise, I love the Capitals. I can't lie. I'm a big Capitals fan.
Mm-hmm.
Jonah, you have some huge commitments to college football.
So, I originally am born in the great state of Washington, in the great city of Seattle. But I don't really have any teams there because as I grew up, I have family connections through my father to the University of Oregon. Yes, the Oregon Ducks. That is my team. Oregon Duck football is everything to me. I can't even describe how much love I have for Oregon Duck football. Probably ever since I was born, I was watching Oregon Ducks games. Quite literally, I think, because my dad keeps telling me after I was born in the hospital, we came back home and watched Oregon lose to Cal in a close loss in 2004. But Oregon football, pretty much everything to me. And then really the other half of my true sports fandom is the Golden State Warriors. Now, you say, why Golden State? You're born in Seattle, Washington.
He's literally wearing a Warriors jacket right now.
Yeah, I am. So, part of my family moved down to the Bay Area in around 2009, 2010, and I visited ever since for summers, spring break, winter break, and Seattle not having a basketball team. I mean, OKC, nobody likes the Thunder up in Seattle. That team is despised. So when I visited the Bay Area, I was watching these Warriors games, and there's this, baby-faced looking assassin out there named Steph Curry. And that's how I fell in love with the Warriors of basketball.
Where is he at now?
Well, I mean, Steph is not a babyface anymore. Man has a huge beard and everything. So yeah, Warriors and Oregon football. Really, for people that know me, the most confusing aspect about my sports fandom is the NFL. I grew up not having a true NFL team. Like, I love NFL football, but I never had a team. I just like watching it. College football is my favorite sport, so I was always focused more on college football. But what I do is cheer for Oregon players in the NFL, such as Marcus Mariota. That was really my first NFL fandom, was the Tennessee Titans. And when Marcus kind of flamed out, I didn't care for a bit. But now, it's Justin Herbert. pretty much a big Chargers fan now, just because how amazing Herbert's been in the first 3 years and counting. And I'm very nervous for tonight. So, Chargers-Chiefs, Thursday Night Football. And that, Chargers are coming on strong for, third place in my hierarchy. But really, Warriors, Oregon, that's really the two.
You're probably not going to be listening to this today on Thursday, so for context, the Chiefs have already won by 50.
You know what? Nah,
all right.
Don't listen to that.
Well, we are planning to do a little bit of coverage on international sports and that national too. So America,
mostly national, but it's a little
bit of international.
Yeah, we saw Barca lose 2-0 in Champions League to Bayern. Leroy Sané.
Oh, my friend was ecstatic over that. Then, Germany has some great soccer. We should probably stop saying soccer if we're talking international.
Yeah, football.
Football.
And then Holland, he had to do it against Dortmund. Down 1-0 and then coming back 2-1, game-winning goal in the 80th minute, I believe. It's going to be interesting. For me, at least for the Premier League, it's Man City all the way. It's a super team. It really is. You have De Bruyne, Holland, Silva. Sure. Everyone on that team. It's almost unfair.
I'm new to the Premier League. Understandably, we can't really cover a lot of it right now because of the suspension of the games. Yep. But, we'll be talking about that. I'm a little bit of a rookie to it. Mm-hmm. I still don't get why some teams can play in both, like, the Champions and the Premier League. Like, what is that? Why is Liverpool chilling in both? They don't get. They should not have the best of both worlds, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Well, right now, besides that, the only two sports we really have going on internationally or nationally is baseball. We're nearing the playoff race and the start of football. So we're going to start with the biggest baseball storyline, and that is Albert Pujols, now at 697 home runs.
Yeah, that is incredible. I want him so badly to get to that 700 number. At first I was like, okay, at least pass A-Rod. Just do that. Because nobody likes Alex Rodriguez. Nobody.
I can confirm
Nobody likes him. So, just pass him. But now, he has around 18 games left, something around that number. He can get to those 3 home runs, especially at the pace he has at right now. So that, I can't say enough about Albert Pujols. He's one of the best players ever to play baseball. He's one of the best human beings to be a part of the sport too, and it's just so amazing to see someone to reach that career milestone in an era where everyone's questioning, did he use steroids? Did that person use steroids? Did that person use performance-enhancing drugs? For him to do it without that is, he's one of a kind.
You could argue he is one of the greatest players in St. Louis Cardinals history. And I think that is an easy argument to make right there.
Definitely put him up there with Bob Gibson.
Absolutely.
Definitely. So that storyline we'll monitor throughout the rest of the season. And really the other one for baseball, Ohtani versus Judge. That is the debate.
Man,
who do you have for
I don't know, man. I gotta admit to you, my team, the Cleveland Guardians, has swept the Angels, and a big part of that was Ohtani giving up a home run to another dark horse MVP candidate, Jose Ramirez. I love you. I have your jersey. Please give me an autograph if you somehow find this. But Ohtani is a freak of nature. He is actually carrying that team. Of course, there is Mike Trout. Mike Trout is amazing.
Perennially injured Mike Trout.
Of course, but when you look at the stats, Ohtani, I believe, is leading the team in hits. He is the best pitcher on the team.
He's leading the team in every
major statistical category, which is really hard to do, I think. I've never played baseball. I'm sure I could pick it up quite fast.
I will say, though, that Aaron Judge, if he takes the batting average crown in the AL, he's batting .310 right now. The leader is at .319. He will not only get the triple crown, which has not been done since Miguel Cabrera, he will be leading the AL in every major statistical category in hitting. On-base percentage, OPS, slugging percentage, all of that. He'll be leading the AL in everything. And leading the Yankees to the playoffs, which is something Ohtani can't say he's going to do. While I'm not going to fault Ohtani for that.
Absolutely not. Baseball is more than a one-man sport.
He's carrying the team. Baseball is not a one-man sport. And the Angels are a dumpster fire of an organization. But, I mean, you have to take it into account whether someone's going to be below 500 on the season and another person is making the playoffs.
Absolutely. I think we haven't seen a hitting season like this since the race of Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire, who both will be forgotten in history, sadly, for like the cheating they did. But everyone was watching baseball that time because they both were like, ooh, who's going to get to 70 first? 70. Aaron Judge is closer to 70 home runs than we all think, and that's terrifying. And that he should be the MVP. He's making baseball exciting. You know, Yankees fan. If you're not a Yankees fan, you probably don't like the Yankees, but you got to respect them.
Yeah. Though I did see Red Sox fans cheering for Judge when he hit his 57th in Fenway yesterday, a couple of days ago. That is a bit too far. If you're a Red Sox fan,
oh my God,
ever cheering for Yankees player, there's something wrong. That's like even when
something incredible is happening.
Yeah, I mean that. It's gone to that point. So, I think we're both in agreement. It's got to be Aaron Judge.
We're going to transition now to the National Football League. Just wrapped up Week 1, starting Week 2 today.
Yes.
On the day of recording. Of course, the first thing we have to talk about is kickers. What the hell? What happened? I'm going to bring up real quick that we had some incredible kicking performances, and I'm going to give a special shout-out to Younghoe Koo of the Atlanta Falcons.
Oh.
The only kick he missed was blocked, and it was a 63-yard field goal. Like, before that, 4 for 4, a great game keeping his team in it. And also, Cleveland Browns kicker, Cade York, first ever career game, he hits a 58-yard field goal to take the lead in the final 10 seconds of the game. And now, what happened to every other kicker in the league?
Evan Mcpherson. What was that?
I have to admit to you, Cincinnati weather can be a big factor of that. It seems to be a theme where Cincinnati kickers cannot make their kicks on Week 1. Every kicker has a bad game. McPherson had that last year against the Green Bay Packers. And to be honest, he made a 59-yard field goal earlier in that game. It just proves how hard kicking actually is. Yeah. I would also like to fault on that play the holder with a terrible hold and a terrible snap.
Terrible snap.
Just proves that kickers cannot do it all. And then we have, in that same game, Chris Boswell finally did make one through the uprights to prevent the tie. But that, what was it, 2 missed kicks before then?
Yep.
You know, thank God he got one through. I also got to talk about, you know, one of my favorite human beings in the NFL, Rodrigo Blankenship, has been released from the Indianapolis Colts. That is heartbreaking.
He is a good kicker, had one bad day, as you just said, and is released. Some lucky team. Like, I could see the Chiefs, if Bucker's seriously injured, the Chiefs...
They could absolutely pick him up for a short game.
They would pick up Rodrigo Blankenship in an instant. And that... I mean, he is a good kicker, so we'll see. I don't think he's going to be on the transfer market that long.
Well, he's off the waivers. He's now a free agent. He'll be picked up shortly. I believe so.
I mean, really, looking at Week 1 in the NFL, who do you think is the best team in the NFL? I think it's kind of obvious, at least right now, who the best team is.
I think it's Buffalo.
Yeah, it's the Bills. They are just a complete team. I mean, Josh Allen, he's got to be MVP candidate number 1. I think Mahomes is right there, but I think there might be some. I know Mahomes only won 1 MVP, but NFL is a bit different than NBA. You don't win as many MVPs. I think there's a bit of voter fatigue with Mahomes. I really think this year's going to be Josh Allen or maybe Justin Herbert. All
right. I do agree. It's probably going to be a quarterback this year, though.
Oh, yeah, really.
Listen, man.
It would be cool to see Justin Jefferson win, though.
Absolutely.
If he gets over those 2,000 yards, probably at least like 15 touchdowns, Vikings are top seed in the NFC. I mean,
I'd give it to him.
He has a real shot because, I mean, what he's doing is nothing short of incredible. I think he may be the best receiver since Randy Moss.
what's up with the Vikings and just getting all these Hall of Fame talents like Randy Moss, Chris
Carter.
Carter,
Now,
Adam Thielen is pretty good too. We
now
can't forget that.
Justin Jefferson.
And then Jay Jetta, Stephon Diggs before that too, who's now eating on the Bills.
Yeah.
And that's a real trade where we can say both teams won.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, definitely.
Well, let's move away from the positives. My fantasy quarterback, because I auto-drafted Trey Lance with a little bit of an alarming performance against the Bears. I just want to point out that you could not ask me to do anything in the weather he was playing in.
Oh man, I don't understand how an NFL field can be that poorly managed. Like, I know the rain was like terrible and it was constant, but there were like actual puddles on the field of play. I just don't understand how that can happen.
I just want to point out the 49ers special teams unit went on the field to like make it a little more dry, and they got penalized for it, just proving that nothing in this world is free.
Yeah, that was a strange call. I don't understand. And, really, for the 49ers, this season is going to be growing pains personified. I mean, Trey Lance has the physical tools and ability to be a top quarterback in the NFL. It's really, for him, because he hasn't played that much, about getting the game to slow down for him, to adjust to be in the NFL. Because he wasn't even in Division I. He was in the FC. He was playing the FCS for, I don't know, 2 years maybe because of COVID. The NFL, you can't even compare FCS football to NFL. This is going to be the year of growing pains for Niners fans. And while that is probably upsetting to most Niners fans, the team is one of the most talented teams in the NFL. So I can see why they're going to be like, oh, win now, because we have the talent to do so. We can get to the Super Bowl and win through our talent if we just get a good quarterback. But with Trey Lance, you're really playing the long game. So Niners fans just have to be patient this year.
Of course, I really am a Trey Lance believer. I do think he can, turn it around because he has an amazing skill set.
Yeah. So on to really week 2, game of the week.
What is game of the week?
Tonight.
Oh, okay.
Thursday night.
Not Browns v
football.
Jets.
No, come on.
For our audio listeners, Jonah just gave me the blankest stare of all time.
Chargers, Chiefs. Who do you have and why?
To be honest, I have the Chiefs. I think the Chargers' defense is better. I think the problem is Mahomes came off a 40-point game, and Mahomes played phenomenal. My fantasy team also has Patrick Mahomes, so I did send in a little bit of word to the NFL script writers saying that I need this.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
that's it.
I gotta go with the Chargers. I mean, I can't not pick against the Chargers for this. Partly because Justin Herbert always goes off against the Chiefs. Always. I mean, if you look at every game in his career he's played against the Chiefs so far, he's had a great game every time. The first game he ever played in the NFL, when he was subbed in just a minute before the game started because of the whole Tyrod Taylor punctual.
Oh, that was
situation,
terrible.
He lit up the Chiefs and almost outdueled Patrick Mahomes in his first game as an NFL player. I think while Keenan Allen being out is pretty big, Mike Williams will have a huge bounce back this week. Mike Williams is also a notorious Chiefs owner. He goes off against the Chiefs too, and he's going to want to make a statement after his poor performance week 1. I think Chargers will put up points, and I'm not worried about that. But what I really think the key to the game is, and I think will happen, is the Chargers defense pass rush. Khalil Mack is back, baby. He is still in his prime. Really, the key is no injuries, but he's healthy out there with Joey Bosa. That Chiefs offensive line, while it may be one of the best in the NFL, those two guys out there are going to create havoc. And don't forget Derwin James lining up in the edge.
Absolutely. That defense is phenomenal this year. All they got to worry about is consistency.
Yep.
Also, just, the Chiefs are a team you cannot ever count out. If you have a lead, this is a little bit of a problem in Chargers history. You got to stay comfortable. You got to keep your foot on the gas.
Yes, that I did not like last game against the Raiders when they got up 24-13 late third quarter, entering the fourth quarter, and started just ground and pound and destroy the clock and melt it. What the hell? I mean, seriously, you have Justin Herbert, you have that offense, you don't trust him to put more points. All the smart people in the NFL, like Andy Reid, you trust your top quarterback to continue scoring. Guess what happened? Raiders got back in the game, but thankfully, Chargers defense and Khalil Mack made sure that the Raiders couldn't win.
Good thing that was a bit of a Khalil Mack revenge game in a way,
Yep.
playing his drafty team.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to prepare to wrap this up with.
I got one more thing to say. Oregon is going to beat BYU at home.
Oh, okay, all right.
It is going to happen. Yes, BYU's number 12 team in the country. Oregon, that team that played Georgia.
Wait, what? BYU's no, you guys can definitely beat them. What?
Yeah. Oregon is not that same team that you saw against Georgia. That's not.
Okay, I don't know about that, but
that was just a bad mix of first-time head coach ever, first game coaching against the best team in the country by far, the reigning national champs with a new system and offense and defense. This Oregon team is really good, people. Maybe they're not playoff good, but they're definitely New Year's Six and conference champion level good.
All right. We're going to wrap this up with just this mind-boggling Monday Night Football extravaganza. Of course, we can't really brush over that Dallas Cowboys game. We just have to talk about how, it might be time to push the panic button. Mike McCarthy, your seat is on fire.
Oh
You are probably getting canned at the end of this year if you underperform once again.
Well,
it is so hard to be in. Dak is also Dak Prescott, their star quarterback. Not a great game, but he also has a hand injury. That offense just looked flat without, their weapon Amari Cooper.
They looked flat with Dak too. So I mean, they're not going to get much worse. So I think Dallas is in huge trouble here.
Of course, all fantasy owners of CeeDee Lamb, myself not included, were upset. They thought he'd take a bigger step forward, but that did not happen. However, I do believe CeeDee Lamb will bounce back a little later. He's going to have to get used to being wide receiver number one. The talent is there, though. He can thrive on that offense, but can he? That offensive coaching really did not look that good. Everyone's calling, what's his name, Kellen Moore?
Yep.
Like an offensive genius. I have not seen it recently. I also learned that he was the one that called that terrible play in that playoff game where they QB snuck it with 14 seconds left, no timeouts, middle of the field.
Bad decision.
Not genius. Like I'm going to do that. I'm going to be real. That's enough for the Cowboys. We don't need to, we don't need to step on them too hard. They're already getting bullied by every media facet in the entire world.
Yeah, but who needs to get bullied more? Nathaniel Hackett for that decision.
I mean, he's also getting it pretty rough.
But he really deserves it. You have Russell Wilson, who signed an offseason.
Broncos country.
5 years.
Let's ride.
$50 million. Playing against his old team, first game in Seattle. You want to make a statement of trusting your quarterback and getting a 4th and 5 with about a minute left on the clock, and I think all 3 timeouts.
Yep.
All 3 timeouts.
I don't get why he waited to call that.
Yarder.
I don't get why he waited to call a timeout 20 seconds later. That game was easily winnable. Of course, we'd have to put some respect on Geno Smith. What a precise game he had. And they ain't write him out. He didn't write back.
He didn't write back, apparently.
Also, Seahawks defense, especially with the losses of Bobby Wagner, they played great. They really did contain him. That red zone defense was phenomenal. A little bit of help from the mind-boggling play calls, but they were not letting anything in past the second quarter. It was actually amazing to watch. Just have to talk about how not to run a game clock.
Yeah,
I don't think I could handle being an NFL head coach, but I know when to call a timeout, and I think he was a little bit nervous.
Obvious poor clock management.
I do believe he can recover. Well, I'm going to wrap it up for today. Of course, we're going to have more to talk about in the future, but this is a little bit of a rough draft. Every episode will be better than the last one,
definitely.
except for the next one. That one I will guarantee will bomb. That's all we have for today. Make sure you follow the WJ Pitch social media because they are the reason we are doing this. So thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Please follow the WJ Pitch Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, because I run it and I do okay.
And I want to shout out Shots by Near, also the Pitch, filming all the WJ Sports.
He told us to, so we're going to do it.
Yep.
Also, shout out Fufu as always. We will see you next week. Of course, everything is changing. We're going to have a lot to talk about.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be fun.
This is going to be fun.
J&J Show, let's rock.